Hey everyone, I'm Dan from JazzComposersPresent.com, an online space where composers, musicians, and listeners come together to celebrate the music we love. I'm joined today by John Barbera, Grammy-nominated composer and arranger and professor emeritus of music at the University of Louisville. John's music has been performed and recorded by Buddy Rich, Woody Herman, Count Basie, and Dizzy Gillespie, among others. John is here to show us how to incorporate non-functional harmony into your writing.
Today I'm here to talk about non-functional harmony. And in a nutshell, I'll try and explain that it's fundamentally the opposite of what we've been learning most of our lives, at least my generation. It's non-functional. It's just the opposite of our traditional harmony. It tends to avoid stasis, which is the equilibrium of a tonic chord, just sits there. And it avoids the movement or the unsettled subdominant chord, like a 4 chord or a 6 chord. And then it shies away drastically from the imbalance of a dominant chord wanting to move and resolve. So it's just the opposite of that. We try to stay away from that particular construct. Now, my generation, we spent a lifetime learning chord changes to standard tunes, which were pretty much based on the American popular song. And then after you learned and memorized those songs, then we try to change them and fix them and reharmonize them using traditional methods like tritone substitution, tritone resolution, different things like that. And then eventually we've evolved into this non-functional harmony. I think one of the most basic things I can say is that it's best when you use these devices or use these systems to use a tune that's very recognizable. If it's not a recognized tune or a tune that everyone knows, then the reharmonization using non-functional harmony is not as effective. Regardless, you should always state the original melody and always state the original chord changes first. Reinforce that. So then what you do will be well known as the contrast to what the original was. So I've picked a tune today that I think that everyone knows, Giant Steps by John Coltrane, which is a transitional piece of material from traditional harmony to non-traditional harmony. Okay. And the other thing too is stay away from chorded instruments, stay away from the piano, stay away from banjos, guitars, ukuleles, any chorded instrument. And you, well, we'll get there. Do you try not to think in terms of our landing points, our tonic points, and things like that? Now, the next step in this system is to take the melody notes of Giant Steps in this case and assign one of the numbers of the upper structure of the chord. For instance, or of a chord, I should say, use the flat 9, the sharp 9, the natural 9, sharp 11, flat 13, or natural 11, flat 13, and 13. So, for instance, on an F sharp melody note, I've assigned that F sharp as being the ninth of a chord. Well, I picked the ninth of an E major 7 chord. That's the ninth of E major 7. I could have called it the ninth of a minor chord. So you'll see that I've assigned nines to every note. I found this works best if you use the same tension, upper tension, for every note. Nines all across the board, or 13s, or natural 11s, or whatever. It seems to have more continuity. So we'll listen to this system now where every melody note has been assigned to be the ninth of a chord, and you get to pick what chord it is. I hope you noticed how the dominant seven chords, the F7, and subsequently the other dominant chords that we have, the D flat seven, the E flat seven, etc., how they jump out. Because in modal writing and in this system, dominant chords tend to lean back toward our traditional harmony systems, and we want to avoid dominant chords whenever we can. So we substitute sus4 chords for dominants, and it makes it a much more cohesive system of this non-functional harmony. You'll hear that a lot with groups like the Yellow Jackets, bands that incorporate this a lot. Okay, now we're going to look at the alternate version of this melody-driven harmony, where we don't use dominant chords for the first two systems, and we do use dominant chords for the second two systems. And hopefully you'll hear the contrast. So again, we're staying away from dominant chords using the number system, 13s and 9s in this case. And I'll reinforce the fact that to really make this effective, I would personally stay with the same number, the 9th or the 11th or the 13th. And it seems to have more of a cohesiveness to the melody. Okay, and I'm hoping your ears heard the same thing that mine did, that in the second alternate two here, where we have the F7 sharp 11 chord and the set next page down, we have two more dominant chords, or we have one more dominant chord, the A7 chord. They should have jumped right off the page after you've had the reference of the first two systems. And when we get to this system, those dominant chords just jump out and seem so incongruous with the rest of the harmony. Now we're going to finish up with another system. It's fundamentally the same thing, only we don't use numbers. We kind of revert back to traditional harmony, to functional harmony, where we incorporate tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords. But we don't incorporate them in the same way we normally would. We incorporate them just as what they are. And of course, the dominant chords will not be dominant sevens. They'll be sus4 chords for the dominant. Subdominant is pretty obvious, your minor chords. And major, the tonic chords. Now, in these examples, in the full example that you'll hear, I've purposely put the tonic chord first and an ending chord as a tonic chord. So you feel that resolution. I normally will not do that. I won't start on the tonic and I won't end with a major chord. You mix them up. So you should pick tonic, subdominant, tonic, dominants, and put them anywhere you want. That's why I want you to stay away from the piano or any keyboard or any chorded instrument. Just randomly pick something. The B natural in measure 4, or I want that to be a subdominant chord. So I'll put an A minor 9 there. I did conform to the original outline of giant steps as far as tonics and the ending points, but I would strongly advise you to just ignore all of that. Just randomly put a dominant or a subdominant or a tonic anywhere, although it's hard not to fit these into the original melody. And these are just exercises to get your brain out of that keyboard, well, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this. This is a starting point. Now, once you get all these mechanical things done, then you start picking it apart. I don't like this tonic chord here, or maybe I'd like two tonic chords in a row, or I don't like the sus4 chord here. So that's when you fine tune it, depending on what your ears are telling you or what your soul is telling you about the piece of music you're constructing. There's an excellent text that I recommend written by Wayne Naus, Non-Functional Harmony, that would help you explore these techniques further. I use a lot of these techniques in my new recording, the new Grooveyard CD that just came out. Take my word, it'll work. And I think you'll enjoy what you find.
Thanks for watching today's mini lesson. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos down below. To watch our full-length events and participate in live Q&As with our presenting artists, head to jazzcomposerspresent.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.